2 days after a preseason victory over the Commanders, the Patriots are back on the practice fields and in full pads for the final open training camp practice of the summer, and we're going to break it down for you. Let's do it. To the Patriots training campcast, everybody. And guys, I was kind of in the afterglow yesterday on Saturday, enjoying that impressive victory from the Patriots in the preseason. Number of good performances to talk about in that game. We got out here today, and it was a little clunky. It felt a little bit like there was a hangover maybe from some of that game on Saturday night, or Friday night, excuse me. But they were back in full pads, Paul, maybe trying to bang some of those cobwebs out, but a little clunky in the red zone today.
Yeah, I mean, they had uppers anyway, and I do think it was a little sluggish, and I kept making the comment that, geez, it looks like a team that played a game Friday night. So that was, I think, asking a lot. Mike Vrabel, certainly had his reasons for having them back on the field, but I thought the intensity for the defense was there. I think that they kind of got called out a little bit by the head coach with the red zone performance Friday night. They didn't really come up with any stops in the red zone against Washington, and it looked like they took that personal, and I thought they had some really tight coverage down there, obviously small windows when you're dealing with the tight quarters, but I thought the defense responded.
Yeah, what did you see from the offense, Ev?
Yeah, same thing that you guys saw, just clunkiness. And I kind of like what you said about, well, it's only 2 days after a game. And I didn't even play in the game, and I was thinking about that last night. Like, really? We're going to go back out tomorrow morning and practice? It's a quick turnaround. And I'm not trying to make any excuses for anybody, but I do wonder, it felt a little lethargic. It felt like a team that had just played a game 2 days ago. So I'll give them that grace. I would also say we're at the point of the summer where when it's Patriots versus Patriots, I'm less concerned, or I don't want to say I care less, but
no, it's a fair point. Yeah, you've seen it, you've done it. It's 13 days now. Yeah.
Right. So we have joint practice to go off of against Washington and a preseason game against the Commanders on Friday night. And then we're going to be in Minnesota for 2 days of practice this coming up week. So those are the practices that I'm really putting on a higher pedestal in terms of overall execution. But with that being said, excuses aside, and let's move on to the good stuff aside, the passing offense in general has not been great. And the head coach has said it multiple times. He said it after the game. He said it at halftime about the ones on Friday night. And then today we get into this red zone practice. And again, I thought that they were clunky. I thought they were inconsistent. And Drake May's ball placement was a little inconsistent at times as well. Throws behind his receivers and letting Carlton Davis back into the window there where I thought he had it open. I believe it was Matt Collins in the back of the end zone. And the ball's just a little bit inside, allowing Carlton Davis to break up the pass. So long-winded answer, but I thought that overall, we're not in a concern level, but the Patriots passing offense as a whole is something that's on the radar.
Yeah, the final play of 11 on 11s, which they did, situational, going down to the goal line, and Stephon Diggs dropped the last pass to end the practice, which I felt was not quite summing up the whole practice, but it was just another example of they were a little off today.
It might be the best illustration of the day for the offense and the passing game in particular. Like Evan said, that was probably the best play they had. And unfortunately, they didn't execute it because they dropped the pass, but it was quick timing, throw balls out, receiver open, just didn't make the catch. But everything else, I agree with Evan about the ball placement. There was a fade, I thought, I think there was the play before that, 6 seconds left. And you got a shot down there, quick fade, didn't even give Hollins a chance. Like, the throw was well long. So, yeah, they got some work to do.
Some of the guys that were active in the practice, though, you guys mentioned Mac Hollins seemed like he was targeted in the red zone a number of times. That's probably going to be his role this year. Clearly, they love to throw up some fades to him. But I thought Efton Chisholm had a solid day, mostly with the twos. But really good game on Friday night. We talked about it a lot in the post-game show, but
I heard
he's stacking days right now. Impressive day for him. Caught a couple touchdowns.
And he was coming on before the game, too. To the point now, and I hope we see this in Minnesota a little bit, I want to see him with Drake May. Is he worth keeping? If he's worth keeping, then let's see. And I know that he's not going to be a big part of the offense, whether he's here or not, but I agree. Today, Josh Dobbs, made a handful of connections to Chisholm, one of which he high-pointed a ball over Marcus Jones in the end zone. So it's not like he's not going against anybody that's going to be on the Patriots, but he's not really playing with a lot of guys that will be. So he's making a move. He's making a move.
Yeah, and Ev, I mean, Jalen Polk looked like he was injured in the game. He was not at practice today, so maybe a little bit of a door opening up for Chisholm.
Yeah, and I would just say a lot of talk will be about the high point one that Paulie mentioned, but the third down out that he ran earlier in the practice, like to me, that's Chisholm, right? Like that's going to be his role, first and second level routes, quick hitters,
I
things
think that
like
was
that.
on Austin.
Yeah, like
that route.
those plays are just vintage Josh McDaniels slot receiver, and he looks the part time and time again. I feel like lately he's been looking like a young Amendola, Edelman, Welker type of receiver. Now, I'm not putting him in that category yet, but I thought that he's made a push here and starting to look that way. And with all those guys that I just mentioned, it didn't happen right away for any of them. Even going all the way back to Troy Brown, it didn't happen right away. So even if it's not this season for Efton Chisholm, I feel like this could be a slower burn like it was for Julian Edelman, where it takes a couple years for him to really
And that's
catch
what
on.
you're looking for is the improvement day to day, and he's showing that.
Carried over from the game. Good sign for him.
Yep.
A little bit more good news. Caleb Chason back out there. I think everybody was excited except for maybe Will Campbell. Had some struggles at times with Chason. He's a handful off the edge, helping Will Campbell get ready though. Good to see him back out there. he's had a great camp, and also the offensive line getting a little bit more healthy with City Sow as well as Caden Wallace back in the mix. Not fully working in yet, but getting some guys healthy.
So I will say one quick point. We talked about the lethargic nature of the practice, just a day removed from a game. Let's take that into consideration for Will Campbell with Chason, who is a little bit fresher.
Yeah.
He didn't play in the game. He hasn't been on the practice field for the last couple of days. So maybe he had a little extra jump in his step while everybody else is dragging a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that's a Patriots.com take.
Good twist there. Jason being back though, just in general, I think is great for them that it wasn't a long-term issue, because I think he's been nails the entire training camp. Every time he's out there in 11-on-11s, he is noticeable in the backfield just frequently in these practices. I know a lot of people take it as, well, who's blocking him and what's the offensive line doing on the other side there, but there's also just the possibility that it's a good scheme for him, it's a good role for him. Maybe Chason is just going to be a useful player for this defense opposite of Harold Landry there. So I'm excited about Chason. I think he's had a really good summer.
Me too. And I would say one other thing that I thought was a positive was Morgan Moses played more snaps with the team periods today than I think he has any individual day all summer.
Davis too.
Yeah,
And Carlton Davis mixed in as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, that's going to wrap up the open training camp practices. We will get to watch a few more. One more tomorrow on Monday, and then we're headed to Minnesota for a couple joint practices, which should be really interesting. Some of the players talking today, Garrett Bradbury mentioning how difficult that scheme is to prepare for defensively with Brian Flores. So should be a great time there in Minnesota. Big week for the Patriots coming up.